Namaskaram and a very good morning. So we have Mr. Shiva, who is a working professional and coming to Himla School for the very first time. So Shiva, what brings you here?
Actually, I was browsing through YouTube. Actually, I have joined your one of the classes in 2021 April. That was at evening time.
Okay, I think it's the Friday workshop. Friday workshop, online workshop.
Yeah,
right?
online workshop. Where it was used to be 1 hour. So I have joined that. After that, I have got a call regarding joining of regular sessions also. But at that time, I was not that much financially stable, so I have not joined. I thought I will complete my CA final on my own.
I understand.
That's the problem. So later on, I used to prepare, but not that much effective.
Right.
And also, I used to procrastinate mostly. So I used to say myself, "Oh, I'll read from tomorrow. I'll read from tomorrow."
Right.
So that led to these many attempts.
Sure. So sorry to interrupt. Now this is one of the problems for many working professionals. You said you joined a workshop on April 2021, right?
Yes.
And which attempt you are talking about? Was this for the May attempt?
May.
Or for the May 2021 attempt? Now it's May 2024, right?
Yes.
Now it's like 3 years.
3.
What was your score in May 21 attempt?
My score was like 127 something. I don't remember exactly.
Out of 400?
200 and one.
No.
Sorry, yeah, 400.
Out of 400.
Yes.
Subsequently?
Subsequently, on 140.
So in the range of 120 to 140.
Yes.
Which means 140 is a kind of score where you're putting in 70-80% effort, but you're not able to convert in the last cycle of revision.
Yeah.
And it's not beating a particular threshold. Most of your scores would have been stuck in the same range. It would be there in the 120 to 160 corridor always. And whatever you do is still stuck. It's stuck there. Now this is a dangerous corridor for all working professionals. Let's say 120 to 160 is your zone. For full-time students, it's 160 to 180. This is because of the additional time they put in. Now, if you notice, even after working for 8 hours, you still would be able to reach here.
Yes.
They, after studying for 10 hours, the delta is very low.
Yeah.
Because beyond this, it's no longer about studies. Now, what you have to understand is, had you cleared in May 21, I think in terms of revenue, how much you would have gained more in the last 3 years?
And on an average, maybe 10 lakhs per annum.
So
30 lakhs.
30 lakhs is your opportunity cost.
Yes.
Guys, this is very, very important for all working professionals, especially when we call ourselves chartered accountants. Focus on opportunity cost. Any person who is sane and sensible will always focus on opportunity cost, not the cost. Costs are cheap. Opportunity cost is extremely valuable. Opportunity cost is the only cost which is costly. So, when you are having an opportunity to crack any exam, which will increase your revenue potential. So look at it like a business investment. Look at how a businessman thinks. Now if I invest, let's say, a couple of crores into buying this site, I can construct X amount of apartments, then I can sell it. So this 2 crores will become 4 to 5 crores. Now this 2 crores is not a cost, it's an investment. Now for a working professional who is already making money, when you're investing something, it's not a cost, it's an investment. You should be smart enough to understand. Now, to get this 30 lakhs, had you invested not even 5% or even less than at that point of time, you would have cracked.
Yes.
And the people, like whether it's Maitreya or Suresh or anyone who had the same problem at a similar point of time, they did that step, it cleared. Now, it's not a question of money. Once again, you have to understand, it's not about money because just because it's lying in your bank account, it's not going to do anything for you. It's a question of how we're looking at the problem. When we do not have the ability to solve a particular problem, do we have the ability to find someone who can solve it and take the next step?
Yes.
Because see, the simplest thing for someone to do is transfer it, because money is the easiest resource which you can transfer. Hard to earn but easy to transfer. But when you have to trust someone, trust is harder than transaction. So when I say when you have to invest, it means that you have to have the ability to trust someone. Only then you can invest. Otherwise you can't, right? So for as a problem solving perspective, any problem, One, can we solve the problem ourselves?
Mm.
Two, is there someone who can solve the problem? Now, one, after a couple of attempts, I believe people will understand you may not be able to solve the problem. I think 2 attempts is enough, Maitreya, to know that
More than enough.
2 attempts is good enough, right? Because you make set of mistakes.
Mhm.
1 year is a good amount of time to understand whether you will make mistakes or not. So, after 2 attempts, it will be very clear that you may not be able to solve the problem yourself. Then, it's once you cross 140, if you know that without doing anything strategic, without doing anything, if you already touched 140, cannot add 60 marks if you have somebody beside you.
Yeah.
So you should know that somebody can solve this problem.
Yeah.
You may not know whom to trust because the whole market says, do this, you'll pass, do this, you'll pass, but nothing will eventually lead there. So there is some trust deficit, but the whole point is you know that there is someone who can bridge the gap.
Yeah.
So this is where we come into the picture, where we are not here to solve someone's emotional problem, because failure is a financial issue. It's not just emotional, because the reason why it's emotional is because it's financial.
Yeah.
If there is no financial implication, people don't take it emotionally. People don't care about a random certificate which you have tried and which you never cleared. For example, you are doing CA, and additionally you want to clear CS. I think Maitri, you also want to clear CS, but you're not bothered about it as much as
Clearing
CA, because it is a fundamental primary resource. So when you're failing, it impacts your ability to earn. It also impacts your ability to support your family, whether it's your original parents or kids, whatever format is for the applicable person. So largely, most of the failures which has financial implication are the ones which have emotional implications.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't care about them. But then a lot of people are not willing to accept this. They're still in that random student mode where you think it's one more exam, you pay 4,000 per attempt, and you kind of want to optimize everything. So it's never gonna work. It's never ever gonna work. It's like for an organ issue. If you're going to the doctor for the first consultation, it will go with few hundreds.
Yeah.
Now, if you think consultation is expensive, let me try something on YouTube. It will go to a stage where you'll have to sell whatever you earn for that one surgery. So that is something which you have to clearly understand. So in your case, I believe the first stage is crossed. You know that you won't be able to solve the problem yourself. This is clear.
Yeah.
Second is, you need someone who can solve the problem for you. So this is what the context of discussion is. Because once we decide that we cannot solve, it is easy to be open about it.
Yeah.
And as a working professional, you don't have time to experiment. Because yesterday we had a full-time student. The conversation was not like this. Because it's okay for them because you have time. You have time at your disposal.
Yeah.
You don't have time at your disposal. So you don't have space for experimentation. And for a full-time student, there is no opportunity cost.
Yeah.
You also have opportunity cost. For a full-time student, there is no 30 lakhs here. If there is no 30 lakhs, it would not bother so much. So in your case, clearly, let's say, if you put in 1 year of effort, okay, your current package might be X. If you clear CA in this 1 year, what is the implication of this X? What will it become?
I think it might double.
2X, okay?
Yeah, 2x in my own company.
Yes.
I don't know about the
Yes.
going placements outside.
If you play it right, it could be 2 to 3X much.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, right, from the current. I think that's what you experience. Now, without studying CA, in your current company, if the X has to become 2X, how much time it will take?
Maybe 4-5 years. I
4-5
think.
years, okay? Now, just understand this. Now let's forget about CA as an exam. It's not an exam. Now for Shiva, he's making X. I don't want to make him comfortable, ask him his numbers, so that's the reason why let's look at 100. Currently he's making 100. Now, if it doesn't go through the CA route, for the 100 to become 200, it will take 4 years.
4 years.
But then 4 years you don't have to do anything. It's like passive effort. Like you just keep doing what you're already doing,
Yeah.
and you work hard enough not to lose your job. That's one thing. But CA gives an opportunity for whatever reason the company believes. If you do this, or if you get this certificate, X will become 2X in 1 year. So you're saving 3 years. This is one. Now, this is not the point. Now, in the next 4 years, today it's 100. Otherwise, the regular increment would be 10%. Now, 10.
Yeah.
100, 110, 120, 130. This is your 4-year package. So this is 460. Now if you're not doing anything, you're making 460. Now if you want to go through the CA route. Let's say this year you still make 100. So people only look at it. It's not like the 1 year thing, right? The cumulative total revenue possibility goes into a different zone altogether when you kind of take this route. Now it will be 100. It will be, let's say, it will become 200.
Yes.
10% of this 220, 240. Now this is what you're looking at.
Yes.
100, 6, 7. This is the range. So this is where you are and this is where you land, and from there you take a jump, it goes to a different tangent altogether.
Yes.
Let's say here if you're taking a 30% jump, now it moves to, let's say, 320 or something. It would have taken you 7 years here.
Yeah.
This is the concept of ISB. ISB, my friend was making around 14 lakhs after clearing CA.
Okay.
He invested 1 year, at that point of time it was 35 lakhs.
Okay.
At the conclusion of this, he got a job at 34 lakh package.
Okay.
Not 34, it was in the second year, it was 27 to 20 year, I guess. Yeah, after 7-8 months it got revised.
Yeah.
So whatever he invested, he recovered in 1.5 years.
Okay.
And from here the base got shifted, right?
Yeah.
How many CS make 34 lakhs after 2 years of qualification? So this is exactly how you should look at it. Since you already have a career,
Yeah.
so even without CA you can continue
Yeah.
what you are getting.
Yes.
But look at CA like an MBA.
Yeah.
Now when I ask you if you want to do MBA, you won't get a doubt that you will fail.
No.
You won't
I
get a doubt.
definitely pass.
Why? Because when you invest 30-40 lakhs, you will think about it differently.
Yeah.
When you invest 4,000 for an exam, it will be mood-based preparation.
Yes.
So this is exactly what we are changing.
Yes.
Now the way we position ourselves is like HLS is like ISB for CA.
Yeah.
Now everything standardized, and we are very clear that we are building your career, we are accelerating your career. Now what is my USP? I'm not talking about helping you clear 3 papers. I'm talking about saving you 3 years in your career, which makes a difference of at least 30 lakhs, even more.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Now when we operate like this, we have the bandwidth to engage a professional. Now when you're paying, let's say, to learn financial reporting, when you pay 10,000, let's say for you to learn science as a subject, you invested 10 years, and the cumulative fee or something. So anything you learn as a subject, you invested so much time. Either one of the resources should be invested heavily. School is not expensive, but time is,
Yeah.
it happens a long term, 6th class science, 7th science, 8th science, 9th science. Now here when you're trying to learn one subject altogether, when you're not putting in so much years of effort, it has to be intensive. It has to be fine-tuned in terms of your learning needs.
Yes.
But for someone who is teaching you online or someone who is teaching at a mass scale, they don't have the bandwidth to focus so much on an individual. Are they doing a bad job? No. But whatever you're investing, it's fine. Because you're getting a substitute. Let's say you have to study something using a book. Now you have time, you go through this, you understand. Otherwise, you need someone to convert this book into a video.
Yeah.
So essentially, when you're going for coaching, it's nothing but a 1,000 rupees book converted into a 10,000 video. It's
Yeah.
still a book.
Yes.
So when you cannot study from a book, when you cannot read from a book, it's the same with the coaching also. It kind of makes it simpler. And all the people who clear using coaching are the ones who clear because of the preparation, not because of listening to a video.
Yeah.
It's only listening. Learning and listening are very different things. Now here we focus on learning. Now it could be through listening, it could be through reading, it could be through practicing, it could be through getting, it in the form of a story like what we did yesterday. So it could be in any format.
Okay.
So we focus on learning. Now learning with a desired outcome. What is the outcome? Whatever you learn, it has to be presented in the format of an exam within the time frame.
Yeah.
For example, if you look at my skill as an entrepreneur, I built 2 skills. The first skill is my actual ability to help you clear the exam. This is one. And I'm sure there are many people in India who could do it, who may do it. But you should also, even for me, even though I know that I have the ability to help anyone clear this exam in 100 days, this is not enough. I have to have the ability to convince someone that I can help you clear it.
Yeah.
Only when you come and give me an opportunity, it will happen. Similarly, when you go out on the market, it's not about your ability to do a particular job. You might think that I can justify a 20 lakh package.
Yeah.
But that is not enough. You should have the ability to convince someone that I need this job.
Yeah.
I can take care of this job. That ability is largely driven by a qualification.
Yeah. Yes.
Qualification gets you an interview. Skill gets you the job.
Yeah.
So if you think you already have the skill, you still need to get the entry ticket. So once, let's say you're a good batsman, but you have to get selected for the match.
Yes.
So this is where the focus is. Now, if you're fretting, if someone is fretting about, I can work better than him. Many people can work better than us. That's not the point.
Yeah.
But how do we get to the right point at the right time is what has to happen.
Yes.
So here we take care of the entire process where you not only build that skill, you'll also build the skill to exhibit your skill.
Yeah.
So it's a two-way process.
Yes.
Now you're ready to get an X amount of package and you're ready to display that you deserve that.
Yes.
Now that instead of saying it orally or trying to prove it hard with your work, it's simpler if you take a certificate.
Yeah.
Right? So CA is the simplest way to arrive at the market.
Yes.
Anything else is harder than CA. As I'm saying, CA is difficult to understand, but for you to get from 100 to 460, it takes 4 years.
Yeah.
Now what is, and then also in your job, if you're not done CA, you're peaceful. If you see that somebody junior who is less experienced, just because he cracked, just because he got 30 extra marks, is coming out of the top of you have to report to someone like him. We can't. Practically, it's impossible for any human being who is having reasonable self-esteem would find it extremely hard. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it is hard.
Yeah.
So what is less hard is going through this financial reporting book and getting those 45 marks in that 1 week and covering up the remaining 10 marks in next paper if at all FR is difficult.
Yeah.
Now this is exactly how we operate.
No.
So I hope the context is clear.
Yeah, I got it.
So does it make sense for you to go ahead and clear this exam?
Yeah.
So we follow a two-step process here. One is you should be clearly convinced that you need CA.
Yeah.
Once you understand that you need CA, you need to clear CA, then we come into the picture because that is a separate thing. Because normally when you go to counseling or when you go to consultation, they bring these two things together. Let's say you go to a traditional coaching institute. Now that focus is on making you join them, not making you decide whether CA is good for you or not, because they cannot have any other opportunity to be, I would say, open and transparent. The volumes won't help because when they have a target of 10,000 students, they cannot literally think from the perspective of the student. That's what happened with the biggest tech company of the world. They had to bypass the interest of the student.
Okay.
So they have to focus on the admission. Now that's where it received a lot of criticism from the parents and students where someone comes in, they force us to join.
Yeah.
Now why is it happening? Because of when you invest 400 crore into a FIFA sponsorship, you don't have an option to recover that money. So that way when you invest 30 to 40% of your revenue into marketing and advertisement, you definitely have to recover it from the student. How do you recover? Only when they join. So you have to bypass the decision making process. Now for us, we go with zero marketing and zero sales budgets. So we don't care about it. No, we give the right advice. Now when we give the right advice, student automatically will come to us. So this is a very, I would say, risky approach when we have to look into the conventional principles of building an tech company. But when we believe that this is right for you, it automatically becomes right for us. Because when you look at it from the perspective, we are not here to solve my problem. We are here to solve your problem. So the solution should be problem centered, which is your center. This is exactly how this is going to be possible. Now people ask us, why are you being charitable? No, I'm not being charitable. We charge premium. We charge premium for being honest. When a dishonest consultation charges X, honest consultation is going to be very different. So in this conversation, you need not worry about whether you have to join us or not. That is not my concern, so that is not your concern also. You should clearly establish that you definitely need this course or not.
Yeah.
That is exactly what we're trying to do. Once you think you need this, then there are two ways. You're figuring it on your own or you're using an existing system. Existing system are affordable and standard. That is also fine. Anything might work.
Yeah.
But you should know that this is like my MBA. When you decide to finish join MBA, there is GMAT. You put in like 3 to 4 months.
Yep.
Like it's a 1.5 year thing. 1.5 years, 50 lakh decision. How and you have to come out of your job also, right?
Yeah.
So when you do it, you're doing too much to get that 35 lakhs. Here also you have to do that. If you notice, I don't think you have put in enough effort to get your certificate.
No. Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't put any.
So the problem is not with the result. The problem is with the result, effort.
Efforts. Yeah.
So when 10% students clear, it's not because of the result, it's because of the effort.
Yes.
And effort in terms of qualitative way. It's not like a regular, see everybody works hard, right? The hardest working person is the one who do physical labor.
Yeah.
No, I work hard, I'm not successful, I'm not making money is not a great storyline. So I studied for 16 hours a day and did not clear, which means it's far more dangerous than not studying.
Yeah.
So that is something which somebody has to clearly work upon. Okay. Now, in terms of looking at what's your full name?
Shiva Kumar. Why?
Okay. The context is sorted. There are 5 basic steps which you talk about. First is the mindset. Now the entire conversation is working on it because when you think it has a particular sense of importance, you'll approach the problem differently. So I'm working on your mindset. Now once you believe that this is very important, mindset is at the thought level. Once you believe it is important, it has to convert into an action level, which is routine, which is action. For example, I'm a certified fitness trainer. But right now, I believe building my brain is important than building my body. So that is the reason why I'm not working out.
Okay.
So that is the reason why my routine would not have regular workout sessions, except maintaining my health in a particular way. That's it. Now, if I get this thought, a great body will further accelerate a great brain. I think I need to accelerate my brain using my body. Now, if I intensify this thought in my mindset, that will convert into action. Only when it converts into action, it gets a result. Now, what is the other way? You're watching a motivational video. You are over motivated.
Yeah.
But then that is not converted in your routine. Then you're just motivated, that's it. The intensity is in the thought level, zero action. Now, this person who goes through this, he believes he's extremely passionate. Passionate in watching a YouTube video. It doesn't translate into action anything. And then, when he sees some other people who write CA exams casually, he learns a very different lesson. Passionate people don't become successful. So you need to understand how it works. You need to understand how I really want to clear. Want should be at the action level, not at the thought level. Want is not a thought. Want is an action. So demand is equal to desire plus ability. Desire is there. Ability is the real game.
Yeah.
So demand is equal to desire. Is where the game stops. Motivation. Where is the ability? So that's what you have to focus. So your first thing is, if you fix this, we need to bring that into action level.
Yeah.
What is action? Ability to sit to study.
Yeah.
This is one. You have to sit to study. And a given day, right now you are here. Yesterday you may be sleeping. I don't know. You may be working. You may be thinking of something else. You may be investing in the stock market.
Yeah.
But today you're at least planning to sit to study.
Yeah.
Base 0. At least you're spending the first 1 hour of your day here. Done. First is sitting to study. Next is actual studying, like you go through that. What happens initially is you sit to study, but you cannot study, but you are decided to sit. It's like going to the gym, you're turning up, you're showing up, you're not lifting weight, but you're showing up every single day. You get used to the process. So this is where a lot of people break the chain. You do it for 3 days and then decide whether I try to sit or not, whether I try to study or not, it's not making sense. Instead, let me spend 1 more hour in stock market, make that extra $2,000 or whatever. You have your reasons, or it will be work on the fitness or whatever. And the second thing is when you try and not get a result, what happens with that is that will create guilt. People cannot process guilt. Like they'll be like, I already tried it multiple times and I don't think I'm good for this. So you're once again triggering your mindset where this is what it should be triggered. It's like you're trying to lift weights to your mind, you're not touching your hands. So this is what we remove from the equation. So we'll do it in 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
Whatever took you 3 to 5 months, directly, okay, decided to study, and then we'll take care of it and we'll put it into action. Okay, this is the biggest transformation which will happen through our 5-day bootcamp. We have something called 5-day bootcamp. So through this process, the last bootcamp we did was in Beach Resort in Vizag. So that was, people got sorted in just 5 days. So this is from my mindset to routine, thought to action in just 5 days. And then there will be a lot of maintenance both at the mindset level and the routine level. There will be a lot of maintenance here and there. Once we add a study routine into your life, things will change. You'll become a different person altogether. And your ability to believe that you're going to CA will increase significantly. Now this guy was sitting here writing, yesterday I slept at 1 o'clock, I was teaching audit, I slept at 1 o'clock and then hardly 5 to 6 hours of sleep and then he has to leave to office now. No, but then, because he is not worried about this, he's not just thinking about something, he just got bringing everything into action. So he's less stressed than most of his colleagues. So the whole point is when you convert, thoughts are stressful, they're loaded, action is not stressful. You feel tired, you sleep, you feel exhausted, you eat, that's it. Thought, what will you do? You don't see it. It's intangible virus.
Yes.
It's like a physical injury. You put a band-aid.
Yeah.
Now, viral fever, what would you do? You can't do anything about it. You keep taking antibiotics, but that is the problem. So this is the first step which we'll do. Once it is done, once you build the ability to sit and study, we have three things. One is learning. Next is revision. Next is presentation. We use some fancy terms for this, which is called syllabus completion strategy, effective revision methodology, exam presentation mastery. So
Okay.
when we make it into an external product,
Yeah.
it has to be a bit fancy. But the understanding is learning. How do you learn something?
Yes.
How do you retain what you learn? This is, if you don't retain, you'll have to go back and redo the learning again. Let's say I told you all of this. You understood it, it's there in your mind. No, you go back and watch your own YouTube videos. So where you're wasting time to repeat the same thing. A lot of students do the same thing. India has 116. Studying. That's what happens. Why do you think they won't clear after attempts, right? Because they're not doing it properly. So learn properly, retain for a longer period of time. So if you do these things, then it comes a question of presentation. Now this is presentation. Now this conversation about presentation. Because I learned something, I retain that understanding for a long period of time. Whenever I want to present it in any format. Now this conversation could go in any way. Let's say you ask me a question, the whole video will be very different, right? One question probably from you or him, it would be very different. Or one different thought, the whole thing will be different. But I'm prepared with the context.
Yeah.
Which question would not matter. So when you go into the examination, question paper should not matter. Why is it? Like when you go into an interview, would you be thinking too much about questions? It's about your readiness to crack that interview, right? So CA is a written interview.
Yeah.
This is exactly how we look at it. Now for you learn something, you retain that something, and then the format XYZ will prepare for that. How do you write it? Now this is also we prepared. I've probably made some 3,000 to 4,000 videos easily. Srinath would have done it even more. Probably don't release most of them because we're lazy. But then we would have. We are prepared. Like at any point of time, we are prepared to talk about something in a meaningful manner, which is understood by the other person. So that way, what you write has to be understood by the examiner. Okay, these are the 3 stages. So this we can build it very fast. The reason being, you already have a routine. You have a work routine.
Yeah.
I just have to convert that into study routine. Now, why am I doing it? I'm approaching it from the professional perspective. I'm not trying to glorify CA. I did not ask you to study CA. I did not ask you to complete CA. You are the one who took CA. You are the one who is saying I want to complete CA. So my responsibility is to help you complete CA.
Yes.
I'm not here into the debate of should I complete CA or go into some other international college. I'm not here. If anybody is sane and sensible, if you put in some cost, X amount of some cost, if you don't think an accelerated way of learning, let's say if you don't find this, there's no point in continuing it forever. Just for the starting national hobby. You keep writing, you don't know, instead of putting that 4,000 essays, you put it ICA, that's it. But once you find something credible, which looks like, you don't know yet whether this will work for you or not. But the point is, it has the potential to tell you that these are the existing set of problems. There are solutions. These people are talking about solutions. And you met someone who solved it from the same perspective. So you have reasons to believe that this time it is going to be different because this is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Now just because something is different, don't do that. Does that different thing have the ability to make a difference is what you are